There's no countdown.
Oh, it already started.
Oh, shit. Welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where we talk about all the crap that happened this year. I'm Matt, and this is Bill. How's it going, Bill?
Oh, 2024 just kind of. This has been both a long year and one of the quickest years I think we've had in a long time.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot. Like the older we get, the more dragged out every year seems to be, but also the faster it goes. It's kind of a weird paradox that happens.
Like this year went by so fast, but I feel like I aged like 12 years this year.
Oh, tell me about it. It's been something else. We lost a lot of good people this year too. Fucking top of the list, of course, is Akira Toriyama, which I'm still kind of broken up about that.
Yeah, it was a rough year overall.
Anyway,
It seemed like every week.
yeah, we lost fucking James Earl Jones, Tony Todd. Like,
Mm.
it's rough.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Thankfully though, we're going into 2025. You know, everyone always says it might be a better year, but I swear to God, we say next year will be better, and it never is. So at this point, I'm just kind of like, it'll be a year. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
let's all be honest with ourselves. Every year is just like the last. Well, except for 2020, that was a special kind of crazy.
That was, well, I mean, 2021 was like probably the first year where it was better, but that was just kind of like, I don't think anything could have been worse than that.
Yeah, that's true. So, how's
Ugh.
things been with you, Bill? It's been a couple weeks since we recorded because we took a week off for Thanksgiving.
That is true. Yeah. So this is our end of the year episode, but if you can probably tell by how we're talking that we're recording this probably before the end of the year, before Christmas. So
Yeah,
just some context there. It was
actually,
okay.
beginning of December.
Yeah. A little context. Honestly, it's been all right. The last Thanksgiving vacation was kind of strenuous. Like that's I love that time of year, but it's always like so much like shit's going on. Black Friday was insane. Um,
Mhm, as always.
got most of my Christmas shopping done. So yeah,
I've Cindy's been looking into. I guess like people have been starting to wake up and realize that Black Friday is bullshit
yes,
because all the companies just friggin' like jack up the prices like a month or two before, and then they cut it down to like $10 more than it used to be, and they're like, look, it's 20% off.
yes. That's why you go to the mom and pop like little like small shops that actually still have the spirit of things.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
that's kind of what me and Alex did. At the time of this recording, I believe our episode hasn't come out yet, but by the time this releases, me and Alex did a whole episode talking about Black Friday and the adventures that we had.
Oh,
So
fun.
enjoy that one. Um,
Speaking of GNC, I listened to the most recent episode, and to be clear, well, I mean, by the time this comes out, the episode that we've yet to record will have already come out. But I will be giving her shit in person about this. But oh, it looks like Chris Sabat played this new character called Corin.
she doesn't know anything about Dragon Ball.
I was sitting there shaking my head like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Her Dragon Ball experience is literally super. That is
No,
it.
I know. It's just it's just I hear that and I'm like, oh my god.
I held my tongue. I was like, I'm not gonna say it.
It's just like, you know what? I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it to her. She has to watch the rest of the Dragon Ball, at least Dragon Ball and Z next year. Because if she doesn't, I'm going to sneak into her house and replace all of her One Piece manga with Dragon Ball.
Be a lot of books to carry out and not as many to put in. I'm not gonna lie.
True. This is true. And in all honesty, if she wanted to read it, she could just borrow them from you, or read
Yeah.
them on Shonen Jump.
Also, you'd have to get in there when she's not there, and that's like never. So she.
True. This is true.
But yeah. Another other updates. I guess people probably noticed from the start of this episode, but we have fancy new music now. Intro music.
Yes. How do you like it, Bill?
It's very anime. And I kind of enjoy that.
Yes, Jerry was very passionate about getting this. He wanted your reaction to it. So
No, I enjoyed it. It was when I listened to it, I'm like, there's the Dragon Ball vibe I was expecting.
that's exactly what I told him to go for. He said, I think the way he put it was he was trying to make a theme for a Dragon Ball show that never happened, and I think he did a very good job with it.
He did it.
I'm very happy.
It's very much what I imagined a theme for this show would be. That we couldn't do at the time because um we were still just figuring it out. Because ironically the previous Geek Addicts intro that I threw together in 5 minutes is very somber, kind of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that also kind of matches the two, because we're not like a super high energy podcast. Which I mean, I'm kind of hoping that we get a little bit more variation once we start getting guests on, like some of the more like, like Aaron and Thrak, like get some more high energy people in here every now and then. But because I don't know about you, I'm like one of those kinds of people who like I feed off of the vibe of other people, and you have a very chill vibe, so that just kind of gives this podcast a very like low key kind of feel to it.
See, the funniest part about that is, even though Aaron and Thrak definitely can like definitely show the personality more than we can, they both have the same like kind of low tone voice as we do, which is kind of funny in hindsight.
Well, I mean, it's a matter of perspective. I mean, I guess it depends on how I'm like what I'm saying, what I'm talking about, but I always felt like my voice is on the not like super high, but definitely not a low baritone.
Yeah. No, I did enjoy it though.
I didn't know that was going to be carbonated. Gross.
That's okay. I mixed an energy drink with gin, so that I'm seeing how that's going.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a good Jaeger bomb. I mean, I know it's not a Jaeger bomb, but it's the same concept. Don't yell at me, people. I know what a Jaeger bomb is.
So I was getting I needed caffeine, but I also want to have a good time. So I grabbed one of those like Ghost Energies, because I have a bunch of them just chilling around.
Are they any good?
Some of them are, some of them not so much. Like some of them are like that's too much, and some of them are pretty all right.
Mm-hmm.
The Atomic Warhead ones are actually surprisingly pretty good.
I did try a couple of those the game fuels, because I happened to see that they had them at the dollar store of all things. But those are actually pretty good. Cindy didn't like them, but I mean, she doesn't like anything that isn't just like a regular Red Bull, because it's a thing with her about like things that have too much sugar. Which I mean, pretty much all energy drinks have a lot of sugar. But
yeah, the
with
Celsius,
Red Bull, you can't taste it as much.
The Celsiuses don't have a ton. But they're also kind
no,
of
bland. But they can tend to be sweet though, depending on which one you get. I do like the Celsius though, because they have a shit ton of caffeine, and they tend to be like the healthier choice as far as energy drinks go.
So. Yeah, the ghosts aren't really bad like calorie wise. They're just they are some of them are very aggressive in their flavors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than that though, nothing too crazy going on. Mostly just we're getting through the end of the year. I actually have anime updates for once, because I actually got a bunch of stuff watched recently.
Nice.
I finished Oshinoko season 2, because that ended today. All I'll say is holy shit. A lot happens. I'm not surprised season 3 has already announced. And Akane is the best character. That's all I'll say.
Fair enough.
The best non-main character, I should say.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing where that show goes, having only watched the first season so far. I really enjoyed what I saw. I don't know. I don't really know where the show is going to go from this point, so it's going to be interesting.
It's interesting.
I've heard tidbits from you and from a few other people, and yeah, we'll just have to push past that.
Well, you won't have to worry about that in season 2. I mean, I still don't even know exactly, because I haven't seen the ending of the manga. I don't even know exactly if those theories even come true or not. So
It's just it's a weird situation. Like I don't know.
Yeah, the whole
Like
thing's weird.
you could tell they were setting something up in season one, and I don't know when it's gonna come to any sort of fruition. Hopefully not
Ever.
completion, but
You'll see. Don't worry about that in
but
season two. That's all I'll say.
yeah. Um yeah, I have also watched a little bit. I technically have only watched one full show. I like dabbled a little bit, like rewatching some Yu Yu Hakusho and a couple of just like whatever things like but I did watch in its entirety Code Geass for the first time, which has been on my list for like literally over 10 years. So I finally crossed that one off. I enjoyed it a lot. I did not know it was a mech show.
Yeah,
I've been hearing about it for over a decade, did not know it was a mech show. So that
that's
was
on my list
surprising.
as well because Alex won't shut up about it. It's one of those ones that I'll get to it some point.
It is very good. It's only 2 seasons, so it's like a 50 episode. It's not super long, and the story does catch you. Like it's really interesting. Like I definitely see why people always put it up with like shows like Death Note back in the day.
Hmm. Did
Um,
last time we chatted, did we talk about the I watched the vending machine show?
yes, we touched on it. Yes.
All right. I did see that. It was it was very much all right, I did. I referred to it as like that was incredibly dumb but entertaining at the same time.
Yeah, I think we also talked about it in the episode 200 of GNC.
Right. Yeah, it was I liked it. Um that's about all I can say about it.
Hmm.
I also recently binged pretty much all of Konosuba. Um,
Hmm.
that show is very entertaining. In a lot of ways, it's another isekai, but the reason why it's entertaining to me is it's an isekai where they're aware how dumb isekais are. Where the whole gimmick is like the main character kind of sucks at everything. Like in traditional isekai fashion, he gets sent to to the isekai world because he dies saving a person in a tragic thing, but then you find out rather than getting hit by a truck like he thought, he actually got hit by a slow moving tractor that didn't actually kill him. He just died from the heart attack from the stress.
That is incredibly dumb, and I love it.
But then like the whole gimmick is like they have this party and they always the whole gimmick is they're like very calculated, but then they suck at everything they do. Like
Hmm.
that's like their whole gimmick. They're like the worst like isekai party ever, but they somehow luck into a lot of shit.
Yeah,
It's just literally a show of like isekais are dumb. We're aware. Let's just play with that and go from here.
fair enough. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched all three seasons plus the movie and all the OVAs. I haven't watched the spin-off series yet though.
mhm. Yeah, that's the one thing is I haven't watched the Code Geass movies yet, but at least to my knowledge, I think the first three of them at least are just kind of like retellings of the show. So I figured there's no huge rush to watch those. I can always just circle back to those and watch them later.
Hmm.
Um, and I've only gotten 6 episodes into it, but I just started another show. It's called Subasa Reservoir Chronicles.
Okay.
It's kind of an older show. It's from like the mid 2000s. And I remember seeing, I think it was on the Orange Bricks, because Funimation would always put like little ads for like upcoming shows that they have on their home releases. Uh, and that was one of the ones I always remembered seeing, but I could not remember for the life of me remember the title until I think I asked on the Superpod Discord if anybody knew. Like I just gave like what I remembered, and it's like, does anybody know what this is? And I don't remember who it was, but somebody was able to tell me the name, and it's really interesting so far. It's okay, so it's not an isekai, but it has some isekai elements to it. So I guess the basic idea of what the story is about is there's this, it's like kind of like a quasi fantasy world, and there's this dude who's like he's like an archaeologist, and he was like a childhood friends with this princess girl, but it turns out this princess girl has like this special hidden power that like basically she can like hop between like different worlds, like different parallel earths. And blah blah blah. Some stuff happened, and she lost all of her memories. But the memories were like physically manifested as feathers, and like you kind of like think of it like the Shikon jewel. Basically, she got Shikon jeweled, but it was her memories instead of a magic stone, and they got spread between multiple different parallel worlds, and the guy has to find them all, or else she'll die. But even if he gets them all, she won't remember who he is.
This sounds eerily similar to the plot of Tales of Hearts, minus the last part, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. But it's really interesting so far. I really like the characters, and as I was watching it, I was like, this music sounds super familiar. And I actually looked into it. It's the same composer who did the music for Sword Art Online. And I think she also did the music for some of the Dot Hack stuff and Demon Slayer, actually.
Oh.
So she does very good work. I
Nice.
like her music, and that definitely helped me get into the show. So I'm excited to watch more of it. I'm hoping it'll be done by the time we do the year wrap up for GNC, but that depends on how things go with timing and everything. But
Yeah, I want to try and bang out a few more shows before then, because we're down to at least 1 week, a week and a half maybe. So
yeah, well, I've pretty much conceded that I'll probably be in last place as far as most animes watched, but I'm fine with it.
I mean, Alex is just gonna make us all look bad. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much Slade's watched, but
he's watched a lot. I'll say that.
I know either way the two of us are going to be at the bottom, but I'll probably be at the bottom.
I just go through this like phase tonight where I just watch the first episode of like 12 different animes just to artificially inflate my list.
To say, yep, I watched a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I started this, I started that, I started this. I
I
started a little
dropped
bit
them
of
all.
this. I started a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm not going to go any farther with that. Anyways,
and then I have been watching Daima, so I guess I can include that on my list, even though it won't be done by then. It will be more than halfway done, though. So
Dub comes out in January, I saw, so that's a good sign.
Yes, very excited about that. But I think by the time it comes out, the show might have wrapped up. Depending, it depends on when in January.
That sounds about right with how behind Crunchy seems to be these days.
Yeah, I mean, it's still not as long of a wait as we had with Super. So Super was like a year and a half.
Super was weird. Like it was a year and a half, and then like a completely different dub came out before it by a different studio for like an Asian territory, and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But either way, I'm really enjoying what's happening at Daima right now. I'm having so much fun with it. They just keep dropping even more lore stuff, and I don't want to spoil anything, but I also really want to talk about it. So it's a bit of a struggle for me. But all I will say is there is another, and I'll just let you stew on that. But you'll probably forget about it by the time it actually is relevant for you. So
you know what's going to be the hardest part of the what's funny is I'm pretty sure that episode will probably be either out or like close to being out by the time we release this, but I am really the hardest question for the anime wrap up is going to be like favorite intros and outros, because there was a lot this year.
Yeah, well, I mean my favorite intro I think is, it might be between like two or three, but there's one in particular that I've kind of had in mind as the favorite, and you probably know what it is. So, but
I'm
the
I'm
outro is gonna be a
actually
little bit harder because I don't pay as much attention to those. So I'm gonna have to actually go through them all and like sift through them, and they tend to be more outros than intros. So it's gonna be a big list of songs to go through.
believe it or not, my favorite outro might have been from a show I recently watched. We might have mentioned it earlier in this episode. Um, it slaps really hard. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I feel that. Um, so as far as like there any like interesting movies you saw this year that you want to talk about?
Um, Believe it or not, I did not watch a ton of movies this year, which is a little depressing in hindsight.
Hmm.
Um, Spy Family Code White, that was an amazing film. I'm I'm still like I want season 3 so bad, but I know we still got a little bit to go for Spy Family.
Hmm.
Um, Suzume might be my favorite film I saw this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that one was definitely up there. Well, I watched the three big Shinkai movies for the first time this year, so it's gonna be hard to choose between those three.
Oh, you did watch Weathering with You finally?
Yeah, I watched it. It was actually like might have been like a month or two ago. It was a little bit ago. I don't know. I must have forgot to mention it.
Doesn't it have such a downer ending compared to the other two?
I mean, kind of, but I mean, it still kind of had that like somewhat hopeful, like like everything was still kind of cool by the end. So
My whole part of that is like the ending of Your Name is like we saved a town. At the ending of Weathering with You, we flooded Tokyo.
yeah,
Although
whatever.
that takes place before the ending of Your Name, so I have it's at least implied that they did drain the flood eventually, but
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure. But oh well.
I'm still like
And I
in a
only I
weird.
think I only watched.
I was gonna say I'm still in like a bit of a debate with myself right now. I'm not sure if I like Your Name or Suzume more.
I don't know, it's a hard choice, man. They're both good. I was thinking to make Cindy watch Suzume because I think she'd really like it.
Suzume is really good. I gotta watch the older Shinkai films. I have all of them on Blu-ray. I just have to sit down and actually watch them.
Hmm. Um, and I think I only watched three Ghibli films this year that I hadn't seen previous.
Hmm.
Because I saw what's it called? The
Boy
Boy
and
and
the
the
Heron.
Heron in theaters in January, and I watched Kiki's Delivery Service and Howl's Moving Castle, which I liked Howl's Moving Castle a lot, and found out after the fact that it was based on a novel. So I'm gonna
An,
have to
Eng-
try and find that,
an English novel. Like it's not even based off a Japanese property.
which is wild to me.
Um,
It's
from
very
what I
rare to see anime based off of Western stuff.
Yeah, what I found really interesting too is apparently the novel goes way deeper into a lot of the background stuff in Howl's. Like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get explained throughout that film, and I'd like to read that novel at some point. I just have to find it and actually
Hmm.
sit down and do it.
Yeah, I gotcha. You and I have read a fair amount of manga this year,
We
both
have,
for this show and otherwise.
yeah. I mean, we did pretty much the majority of we did the like basically the first like major portion of Pokemon Adventures. Went through that,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
I swear the world was against us because it did not want us to have a smooth recording on any of those.
Nope. Yeah, it happens
Uh,
though.
I'm still bummed. The one that was like my favorite section was the one that got hurt the worst by like audio issues.
Yeah. I mean, we could always revisit it later on if we wanted to, or do like a general overview.
Well, I
But
definitely do want to do Diamond and Pearl at some point soon because I'd like to see where it goes next.
yeah. Well, I mean, the one we're doing next for possibly for next week's episode. Um, well, actually, Super and that one will probably wrap up in the same like round. 'Cause I think
Mm.
my plan for the next one that we're doing, I don't know if we want to say it or not, but my plan is to split it up into four chunks and read it that way. And Super, I think, is going to be about the same. So,
Oh, book 22 came out, I believe.
yep. It showed up in the mail randomly. I totally forgot that I had pre-ordered it.
I found it at Barnes and Noble 2 weeks early, and I was like, "Oh, cool."
Mhm.
Well,
But
because I
hey, one more
remember,
volume and that'll wrap up the superhero arc. So,
right? I forgot they were in that because I picked it up and I saw Pan on the cover, and I was like, "Oh, right, we're in this now."
mhm. Yeah, and that'll be the last complete volume that we're going to get until the manga comes back. Because after that one, there's only three more chapters, and each volume is four chapters. So unless they want to put out a small one, that's gonna be it. So at least until they bring it back, which who knows when that's gonna be. Supposedly, we might be getting an announcement about that soon. Because is it like Jump Festa or something? I know something is happening this month in Japan, some sort of event, and supposedly Toyotaro is going to be there, and that's, I guess, a big deal. So we'll see. But I mean, we've been shortchanged before. It could easily just be them promoting Dragon Ball Divers or whatever the fuck that's called, which is the replacement for Dragon Ball Heroes.
Oh yeah,
they're doing away with all the Heroes arcade machines in Japan, and they're replacing it with a new one.
Yes, makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I finally beat the Yuffie DLC in Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Nice.
So I'm all set for when I get the second game. You just jump right into it. Although Sparking Zero will probably be taking priority until that's done.
Gotcha. You played Persona 4 this year. That was a big thing.
Persona 4 and Chrono Trigger, both very big ones that have been on my list for a while. Enjoyed both of them very much. I am in the middle of a replay of Persona 4. I'm trying to think where I left off. I think I just got Yukiko on the team. That's where I left off.
Right where the game picks up.
Yeah. I think that was mostly what I wanted. I just wanted to get to a point where like the game gets really interesting, and then I could get distracted with other stuff, and when I come back to it, I'll be like, all right, cool, I got all this cool stuff waiting for me.
Yeah, that's
the thing that sucks is switching consoles is now I'm not new game plusing it, I'm actually just new gaming it, so
gotcha.
That's a little bit of a bummer, but
well, at least you know what to do.
True. I can schedule my time better in that game to get more done.
You can plan.
Exactly.
Planning is half the battle in that game. So.
Oh, so for the I don't know if you know anything about it, but the Yu-Gi-Oh like retro, like big like video game thing that's supposed to be coming out like in a couple months. Is that only going to be for Switch, or is it going to come out for other stuff too?
I don't know exactly. Because I remember that got announced and then I forgot about it.
I'm super excited about it because it's got like, with like the exception of like Duelist of the Roses, it's got like all the Yu-Gi-Oh games I played plus a bunch more.
Why did they kick out Duelist of the Roses? That's a weird choice.
It's just one of the few ones they didn't include. I don't know why, but they just didn't put it in there. Would have been nice to have that on an updated console to make it run a little bit faster, but whatever.
All right, Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. Yeah. It doesn't really say.
Well, maybe they haven't announced it yet. But I hope it comes out for...
You get to play Sacred Cards, and then you get to have the misery of playing Reshef of Destruction right after.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? If it does come out for a system I have, I might finally actually try to play through Reshef of Destruction just to see if I can do it.
So you could be like, this is fucking bullshit every 5 minutes.
But I did notice that fucking Dungeon Dice Monsters is on there, and I'm pretty pumped about that because I played a little bit of that this year, and I really enjoyed it. It's a fun little like grid game.
You know, it'd be really funny if they just like skipped Duelist of the Rose but put Falsebound Kingdom on there, or did they do that?
I'm not sure.
Because that would be really dumb if they put Falsebound Kingdom, the one game in the Yu-Gi-Oh game series that has nothing to do with the card game.
I could not tell you. I think there's a Capsule Monsters game in there too. I'd be interested to play that and see if it's anything like how it is in the manga.
They should throw Destiny Board Traveler on there, like one of the dumbest Yu-Gi-Oh games.
I think it is on there.
Oh, geez, that game is so trash, but I kind of love it for it.
Because I know they put like 14 of the classic Yu-Gi-Oh games on there. I know a bunch of them are Game Boy Color games, but I know that there is some other stuff on there.
It's funny because a lot of them are like legit just the same thing, and I'm like, a lot of these are kind of lame.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we needed like 3 different versions of Dark Duel stories.
Yeah, like there's like all those, like the Game Boy Advance games, which are all basically just worldwide edition.
Yeah, and then there's the sacred cards, and I like sacred cards,
Well, Sacred
but
Cards and Reshef at least do something. Like
yeah,
the other ones are just battle simulator.
true. Um, and one thing I did like about the Dungeon Dice Monsters game was it like actually has like little animations for every monster,
Hmm.
and it has the benefit of not having like a super complicated like how like with other games it's like, oh, I gotta build my deck and I gotta strategize how I do it, and like there is a level of that with Dungeon Dice Monsters, but you only get 15 dice in your dice pool, quote unquote. So you don't have to think too much about how you're setting it up. You just gotta make sure you got the right amount of like different kinds of symbols on your dice so that you can actually activate effects and stuff. But I don't know. It's a really fun like time killer kind of like, I don't want to call it a puzzle game, but it's like a little board game that you can play. It's pretty cool.
I always remember like they really tried to make Dungeon Dice Monsters a thing, and it just kind of like it was here, and then it kind of just like petered out like really fast.
It's kind of upsetting though, because like I said, like I was having a lot of fun with it, and I think if they had put the time into it, it would have. It wouldn't have done as good because generally people tend to gear more towards the cards anyway. But
The problem was it was just more stuff you had to buy, and it wasn't as easy to buy as like the cards were.
true, but I mean, if they had tried a little bit harder with the video games and people learned how to play that way and like actually got into it, then people probably would have ended up going out and buying it.
I honestly think if they had just stuck to exclusively being like games, like video games, and not like done the physical thing, it might have done better.
True.
Because I think the problem was it was just too complicated. Because one of the big appeals of Yu-Gi-Oh, at least back then, was how easy it was to get into.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore.
No, now it's just as fucking complicated as every other card game, and that's why I'm not interested in it anymore. But um,
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
the day, though, it was like super easy to get into. Like I always say, like the reason why I don't think anyone played the damn Pokemon card game was it was too complicated.
Yeah. And well, I actually just for shits and giggles, I happened to see it at Walmart when we were shopping, like doing some Christmas shopping the other day. And I got a couple of starter decks for the Dragon Ball Super card game
Oh
for
yeah,
for me and Xander for Christmas, and we're gonna try that out and see how that goes.
nice.
There was a super deck and a GT deck. I'll just let him choose whichever one he wants, but I have a feeling he might choose GT though because he likes Super Saiyan 4 and he likes the
Yeah.
whole concept of Super Saiyan Kid Goku. So,
I mean, Super Saiyan 4 is the best part of GT.
hmm. Aside from the ending of GT is actually really good.
Yeah, we have to get through a lot of shit to get there.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you could
But
just skip it all and just watch the OVA and just say fuck it.
yeah, he'd be like, "Hey, Goku Junior, his great 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 grandson."
Yeah. Oh, geez, that show. The only things from that show I liked were GT and Player Goten because that's just funny in hindsight.
I mean, I like a lot of things from GT. Like, it's easily the worst of the Dragon Ball shows. Like, let's not split hairs here, but it doesn't make it like awful. Like, it's not unwatchable. Like, it is a show I come back to every few years and I'll rewatch it.
I just think like the thing that always like just kind of threw. I think that most people's biggest sticking point with GT was always like Goku being a kid again because it was just pointless.
Yeah, well, now Goku's a kid again.
Yeah, but at
And
least
it's
this
kind of
time,
awesome. So
at least this time around, though, it actually makes sense, or at
true.
least
I
it's
mean, it's
better. It's better
still a
than
wish.
GT. GT was dumb just because GT it was like it was just Goku, and then they didn't even do anything really interesting with it.
Yeah, but this time it is more interesting because everybody else is also kids.
Well, yeah, that's got potential, not just Goku's a kid with his granddaughter who's like older than him now, because that makes
Yeah,
sense.
for real. Um,
Then I was horrified as a child because the first image of GT I ever saw was fucking old lady Chi Chi in a nurse uniform shoving a needle in his ass. And I'll always be like, what the fuck is this show?
yeah, yeah, it's pretty silly.
Such
Um,
a weird scene in hindsight.
yeah. Um, but yeah, no, Daima's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really looking forward to see because he literally just met up with Vegeta and Piccolo and Bulma, and like now they're actually congregating and doing stuff. Um,
I really hope Chris Sabat does like Kid Vegeta's voice, and I just want to hear how he does it.
he's gonna have to do Kid Vegeta and Kid Piccolo.
True. Is Yamcha there?
No,
No. Okay.
no, only at least as far as like the Demon Realm stuff, only Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Bulma, and Supreme Kai went.
Gotcha.
But I'm a little bit disappointed. I was really kind of hoping Krillin would be there because it's just something about that like classic Kid Krillin voice
Yeah.
brings me back. You know?
I mean, you're probably most psyched just to hear Stephanie Nadame again, though, right?
Oh yeah, extremely.
I'm
'Cause I,
curious
I
how she's gonna sound because it's been a while since she did the voice.
it has been a while. I mean, I saw the trailer and you could definitely hear like she's aged in her voice, but like I mean, it's still very recognizably the classic Kid Goku voice.
Yeah, it's not like I think the most jarring to me, like voice actor coming back after a long time was Kirby Morrow in Yashahime, which tragically he only came back for one episode because he passed away shortly after. But
Hmm.
he must not have been doing well at the time because he sounds rough in that first episode of Yashahime.
Yeah, I still think one of the like most impressive performances I've ever heard in animation was uh Chris Ayers' performance in the Broly movie. May he rest in peace.
Mm.
Because he was in that movie, he was operating at 17% lung capacity.
Yeah, and I'm so
Like,
glad he was well enough to do that movie. Just as his like final performance.
yeah, and I am glad he was able to go back and re-record the Frieza lines that he missed in Super.
True.
So at least we have that to remember him by his
Mm.
his incredible performance at less than a fifth of his lung capacity in Broly. Like that was wild that he was able to do that well with such little air to work with.
I know, especially because he does a lot of screaming in that movie too.
Yeah, for real. Um, but yeah, I did not beat nearly as many video games as Thrak did this year.
Yeah, I said it on 3DO earlier, but like I made this year more of an anime year than a gaming year, mostly just because I really wasn't feeling games this year. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's
And
fair.
I beat a few. Like I beat the Mario and Luigi RPG remake, which I really enjoyed. I actually beat
Mhm.
that the same day you beat Fable
That's funny.
because you were streaming and I was playing it in the background. I remember.
Mhm. Yeah, I need to get back into. I'm hoping that at some point in the near future, I can start up another stream. Um, Actually, I was going to try and do that next weekend. Um, but well, I might have to try and work some stuff out as far as like the planning of it. But I mean, if you're available, we might be in your neck of the woods. So I was gonna see if we could drop by.
Oh, okay. Next weekend, you were saying?
Yeah.
All right, thanks for telling me because I was actually thinking about heading back home.
Yeah,
That would have been ironic.
they're real funny. Well, I'll let you know as I learn more about what's going on because what it is Cindy's dad got rehired by the people who laid him off,
Mhm.
and they set him up. They sent him to Connecticut, but he has to drive back and forth from here to there every day for work. So, and they gave him a work truck. So his car keeps getting left there for the week, and then he doesn't bring it back until Friday. So, Cindy and I were talking about like driving him down there, and yeah, so he can grab his car, and then he could have both here.
Hmm.
Um, and he literally works like 15 minutes away from you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So it's entirely possible you may have passed him on the road at one point or another.
Oh, it's possible.
But Yeah, so we're already going to be that close. So if you're not doing anything, I'm definitely dropping by.
Yeah, just let me know. I won't go home next weekend then.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just got to talk to Cindy's dad about it and figure out if he actually wants to do that next weekend.
Okay.
But
Um. So what else did we? Gaming wise, still not a ton. I mean, I mostly played 3DO games this year, which is perfectly fine. I enjoy my 3DO games, even though we played a lot of shit recently. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
Um.
looking forward to next week's episode.
Uh. We're recording that on Sunday. That's gonna be oh boy. By this point, people already know we're doing the porn games, so
Yeah, well, by this point, it would have already been out for a few weeks, but
yeah, that's our holiday special. Kind of, kind of.
oh god. So how many hidden gems, Bill? How many?
Calling them games is a stretch. That's all I'm going to say. And they're not even calling them porn is also a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. I still don't even know how I'm gonna handle that episode for like the like content ratings and stuff because I might have to like set that one for explicit.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if all the rest of your shows aren't set to explicit, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, well I gotta see because we're gonna have Dre and Steve from Fine Time on with us, and
Oh
oh
yeah,
boy,
that'll be fun.
I love those guys. Their show is very very entertaining. That's all I'll say.
Fair enough. Um, yeah, I've read quite a number of books this year. I've passed the 50 mark, so that's good. Um, and as far as like, I mean, I still have some time. I got to read the stuff for next week's episode and then finish the book that I'm currently reading. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish another one after that because I already have another book lined up to read. But I mean, I read the Aragon series for the first time this year,
Nice.
which is really cool. I still haven't read the new one that came out last year, but I read like the classic 4 books, and I enjoyed them. They were pretty good. I didn't really start getting into it until Eldest, the second book. Um, I don't know. It's just something about the first book that didn't catch me, and then it made me really nervous because a lot of people were telling me that the first book was the best one. I was like, I really hope not, but I ended up liking the later books more than the first one. So maybe it's just a matter of preference. Um, but I think my favorite book that I read this year is still, and I said this when I read it like way back in like February. But I think Watership Down is still my favorite book that I read this year. It was absolutely wonderful,
I
wonderful
remember
story.
watching I remember watching that movie back in fucking primary school. I don't know what the fuck that teacher was thinking. It's
Well,
holy
there's
shit.
there was a few movies because I know Netflix did a one like recently, like within the past few years. Um, and I know that there was a like an older classic one, and it might be another one. I'm not
I
sure, but
We watched the classic animated one like back when I was in primary school, and holy shit, that movie is a fucking trip. That's all I will say.
oh, I'm sure. I mean, the book is crazy too. I mean, it's funny because the first half of the book is them just being like, oh no, this horrible thing's gonna happen to our home. We gotta get as many people as we get, or rather, get as many rabbits as we can, and get the fuck out and set up a new place. And they go through all these adventures, traveling. They're telling their stories about Rabbit Jesus, and they finally get there and they settle down. They're there for a couple weeks, and they're like, man, this is awesome. We like don't have to worry about predators. We got plenty of grass. We're working on this awesome burrow, and then like the main one's just like looking around, and he's just like, we don't have any bitches. And they spend the whole rest of the book like, oh shit, we need females. We're gonna die out in like 2 years.
Yeah. The dude bro mentality. They were all like,
He's like, wait
yeah,
a
this is
minute.
great.
This is
Wait
a
a minute.
sausage fest. We need some chicks.
I remember that movie caused so many questions. I remember like parents were mad that we watched that in school because like all the amount of questions that were asked after watching that, and the teachers were like, "Ask your parents," and the parents were like, "No."
Hey, it's classic literature, okay?
It is, but primary school students maybe a bit early. I like elementary or middle school, probably better. I'm gonna say.
That's fair. I'm
I
just
mean,
saying. I thought the book was absolutely wonderful, and I recommend anybody out there if you haven't read Watership Down. Yes, it's a story about rabbits. Deal with it. Read it. You will love it. It's
oh,
amazing.
it's about rabbits, but it's a very mature book for its demographic. I will say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, kids' books in the '70s just hit different. They weren't. They weren't like the fucking watered down shit that they give kids nowadays.
I still don't know what was more shocking as a kid watching that in primary school or accidentally watching Akira in like elementary school.
Oh God.
Yeah, that
um.
was all because of those like sketchy websites you used to watch anime on back in the day, and they didn't differentiate like mature and non-mature stuff.
Yeah. Um. Another book I read recently was Ender's Game. I read that for the first time, and that was really good too. And I got like halfway through it, and like I saw like that the last page of the book was like an ad for like more books, and it was like, oh shit, there's 3 more books in this year. This is a series. I didn't know it was a series when I started reading it. But the first book ended in such a way where it's like I feel okay with waiting to read the rest of them. Like it's like it ended in like a very rounded way where like it could have easily been a standalone book.
Hmm.
So I'm not in any huge rush to read the next ones, but I will eventually do it.
I haven't read it yet, but I bought recently I bought the a book called Seconds. It's actually then it was the first book that Brian Lee O'Malley did after Scott Pilgrim.
Mm-hmm.
I've been looking forward to reading that pretty soon because it has some very interesting like page layouts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard it's a really cool story.
I
It's a
am.
one and done. So
Oh, that's good. I am really looking forward to doing like more of like the manga reviews. Like I know we were like pretty focused on the Pokemon ones for a while,
hmm.
and I do want to get back to those. But like I like I like what we're doing now, where we're kind of cycling through and like reading chunks of a story. Like I'm looking forward to getting back to Yu-Gi-Oh and reading Duelist Kingdom.
Hmm.
That's gonna be cool. And
I'm gonna have to track down more of that because I only have the first 3 3-in-1s at the moment. So
well, I'd have to look into it, but I don't think Duelist Kingdom is that long. Um, so you might only need to buy like 2 more. But we'll see.
yeah,
Yeah, because wait, the yeah, because you still have 2 more volumes that you didn't technically read from the last one. So
yeah. There's 2 volumes in the last 3-in-1, and I'd have to buy probably like a couple more just to have.
yeah, yeah, I think you'd only need to get like 2 more, and we're still a little ways away from getting back to Yu-Gi-Oh because we still have the one we're doing next week, and then Dragon Ball Super. So
Dragon Ball Super, Pokemon again at some point.
well, I was thinking we'd save that for once we finish Dragon Ball Super and when we're doing next week. Because, like I said, like those are both gonna finish during the same round, and then we'll have 2 open spots. So, and the Diamond and Pearl, it's an 11 volume
True,
thing, so it's pretty long.
true.
And then we're gonna have to figure out what else we're gonna do because
I would like to do the Yashihime manga at some point, just because it's a lot different from the anime.
yeah, that's the thing is our options are limited because we don't have a ton of the same ones. I mean, I know obviously like when we finish Super, we could always just circle back and start original Dragon Ball,
Hmm.
but but at the same time, it's like I mean that is a good option just because we don't have a ton of the same mangas. Because I don't have any of the Inuyashas. You don't have any of the Naruto's, which are
Yeah,
2 ones that we probably would do if we both had them.
yeah. The problem with Naruto is it's just too much manga for me to collect right now.
That's fair. Although you could just do what I did and get the box sets because it's just three.
True,
There's just a straight 3 box sets, and the first box set would cover you for a bit.
true.
Um, and if you wait like for a good deal, because that's what I did. Because I ordered them off of Amazon, and the prices for that fluctuated a lot when I was ordering them. So like sometimes it would go up and it would be like 150, and then it would go down to be like 90. But you get for the first box set at least that's like 27 volumes. So that's a good good amount of manga for that price.
Hmm.
You know, so if you wait for the price to drop, which tended to happen pretty frequently at the time, at least, it's not too bad. Or you could just get the 3-in-1s, or but didn't they do like a bigger one for that? It wasn't like
For
a Viz Big, but it was something similar, like a similar idea.
for Naruto, they did 3-in-1s.
Okay.
The kind of similar to like Full Metal Alchemist and Rurouni Kenshin.
You don't have Full Metal Alchemist either?
No, I have all of Full Metal.
Oh, we could do that one.
That's true. We
I
could
have
also
all
do
that.
we could do Kenshin too because I have all of Kenshin as well.
I mean, I've been reading it digitally.
True.
I have the first 4 Viz Bigs, but that's as far as I got with collecting those.
I don't have the Viz Bigs. I have the 3-in-1s.
Mhm.
Bought them all
I mean,
secondhand.
once Christmas has passed, and we still have a ways to go before we'd even get to that point anyway. But I
Yeah.
mean, I did read like 5 volumes and some change this year. Like I got up to like right when Kenshin leaves to go to Kyoto, and then I think he just met the little ninja lady, and that's where I left off.
Nice. The only thing that sucks is with Inuyasha is you can only get that in the Viz Big format, and those are so hard to find sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know I was seeing them at Newbury Comics for a while, so maybe they started printing them again, and they're a little bit more available now. I don't
Well,
know.
they're always printing them intermittently. It's just kind of it's one of those cases where like they're printing them, but there's always like one volume that's out of print or out of a stock at a given point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like just annoying to collect. The
I
Viz Bigs
gotcha.
in general are kind of annoying to collect. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad I got my Dragon Ball ones when I did.
I got lucky and found all of those. Well, Amazon for original Dragon Ball, Amazon was doing a sale,
Mm-hmm.
and they were all like 30% off. So I got most of them like for a fraction of the price. I got lucky and found pretty much all of the Dragon Ball Z's Viz Bigs at like a Newbury Comics, like just there. So I grabbed them while I saw them.
Hmm. I am a little upset that Viz didn't do more series on the Viz Big style,
I don't think they sold well.
which is wild to me because it's such better quality than like the regular 3-in-1s. Like, yeah, they're a little bit more expensive, but like you pay for quality, man. The 3-in-1s just have shitty paper. They get beat up so easily.
Oh yeah, like the
You
Yu-Gi-Oh
know?
ones are so flimsy.
Yeah, and all of the 3-in-1s are like that. My like the One Piece ones that Xander has, um the Full Metal ones that I have. Like I
Mhm.
really wanted to get the nice hardcover Full Metal ones when those started coming out, but I just couldn't swing it.
I wish I didn't see. That's what Viz is doing more of now. I wish I hadn't started collecting Full Metal when I did, because I would have grabbed the hardcovers. But
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
that happens to me way more often than I like. Like it wasn't until after I had bought all of the Witcher books that they were like, "Hey, we're gonna start releasing hardcovers," after not having hardcovers for like 10 years.
Well, it's kind of like um Death Note. Like they had the well, there's the all-in-one edition, which is atrocious. Like, don't bother
Yeah,
with that.
that's like the worst. Fuck, don't even bother. It's so thick. It's thick, but it's small, so you can't even like fucking open the pages. It's awful.
Yeah, it's not good.
Don't
Then
waste your money.
there's the black editions, which those are kind of nice.
That's what
Uh,
I got.
I
I
have
like the feel of the paper on that. It's way different than what you usually get from manga, and I like it. I like the style.
so because you had gifted me the first 2 volumes in the traditional format, I have all of the traditional format versions of that just because I wanted consistency.
Yeah, sorry, I gave you those because I got the black ones.
Yeah, it's all good.
But
What I
um,
hate though is the fact that volume 13 is taller and it sticks out like a sore thumb next to the rest of them.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, at least it's not. It's one of those ones that can kind of be separate, so it's not that big a deal. But yeah.
I was actually thinking about the Vizbigs for a minute there. Like, I'm pretty sure they only did Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Rurouni Kenshin,
I think they did a
Vagabond,
series. Yeah, Vagabond. I
and
remember
then
seeing that one.
Fushuji Yugi. That was the other one.
Right, right.
Is that
Yeah, they didn't do very many.
Alex has that one.
Um,
Yeah, that was the only shoujo beat one that they did.
yeah.
Because because most of them were shonen.
You know what you should start collecting?
What?
The Attack on Titan Colossal Editions.
Ugh. Those things are hideous.
What? I think they're great.
The
They,
spot.
dude, I literally, I bought, like, there was one year for Christmas, I bought Cindy, like, because there was a series she wanted to read. I bought her 5 hardcovers. And like these books like started at like 400 pages, and like the most recent one at the time was like close to 1,000 pages. So there was like a good like 4,000 pages ish of book, and there were hardcovers. And the one Colossal Edition Attack on Titan book that she got me weighed more than all of them
Yeah.
together.
So I'm not gonna lie, like Attack on Titan, I think still has like some of the ugliest spines in like manga right now, like the regular editions.
Mhm.
Um, my only problem with the colossal editions are they're nice sets, but I just don't trust Kandasha to like do quality fucking manga releases.
Well, I mean the pages themselves are I'd say comparable to like the Vizbigs, like the glossy kind of page. Um, the only thing I would say is if you can at a decent price, I'd say buy them in store because some of the ones I got from Amazon drivers don't really like their jobs very much. I've noticed
No, they.
they
So
tend
here's
to
the fun. You bring this up, but the Barnes and Noble near me, they have 3 colossal editions, and all of them have tears on the spine on the shelf, and I'm just like, that's lovely.
Well, that happened with like with one of them that I got. Like they it showed up damaged, but all the rest look fine. It's just having a good place to store them because having like I said, one of them weighed more than 5 pretty hefty hardcovers.
Are we
Uh
talking like
so you want
Berserk?
to you what huh?
Like, are we talking like Berserk Helsing weight or
Maybe more, honestly.
hmm.
Because these are 5-in-1s and they're bigger. So
Yeah, Kandasha's quality. It's hilarious collecting manga over the years now. These last like 4 years, I've become kind of like attuned to the different publishers and how like they have their different strengths and weaknesses. Like Viz by far has the most variety. They're generally the most consistent, but their actual quality is all over the place.
yeah, it's no consistency at all.
Like you look at the spines and they're all like fucking none of them match. Like the volumes are all different sizes. Like it's like yeah, whatever. I'm not that much of a stickler for it. I just it's funny to notice. Um, I've noticed very quickly that like Seven Seas has by far the best quality overall. But God forbid if you miss out on collecting a Seven Seas series like when it comes out and you try to get it later, it's most likely out of print and good luck finding it for a good price.
Mhm.
Um, Yen Press is okay. Their consistency is a little weird. They tend to take forever to release shit.
Well,
Uh,
Yen
can,
Press is. I mean, I could be mistaken, but isn't Yen Press mostly light novels?
no, Yen Press does a whole bunch of stuff. Like they do. Fruit Baskets was Yen Press.
Oh, okay,
Oshinoko's Yen Press.
okay. Well, that explains
It,
why I can't find it like to read like for a subscription digitally.
yeah, the Yen Press does a lot of interesting stuff.
So I know Yen Press because they do the Sword Art Online books.
Hmm. They do that. They're doing what's a series? They did My
Slime,
Teen
right? No.
No Slime's Kadasha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Slime 3-in-1s. Ooh. um,
Really?
yeah, you're better off by. Well, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not impressed with the Kadasha's 3-in-1s at all. I mean, I don't even
Oh,
really.
I was more referring to light novels.
Oh, like I believe they did the light novel as well,
Hmm.
but their manga 3-in-1s are like they just like
Hmm.
they're like the Viz 3-in-1s but worse somehow.
Hmm.
Um, there's also Vertical, but Vertical does like such a low amount of stuff that it's kind of like I think I have like 2 Vertical series I'm collecting right now.
Do you know who does the JoJo's?
Viz.
Is it Viz? Wow.
Yeah, they're just super high quality.
They just went like fucking balls to the wall for JoJo, apparently.
I think that has more to do with the JoJo creator just being extra with fucking everything he does.
Yeah, that tracks. That tracks.
That was probably part of his stipulation because I mean it's not as extra as Dark Horse. Like Dark Horse doing like the Berserk, like Hellsing, and now Trigun, like leather bound fucking like special editions.
Those are so pretty. They're so fucking pretty.
They're pretty. I just can't get into Berserk.
I want them in my shelf.
You know what I love too? Every time you see a collection, like someone's like, "Look at my Berserk collection," and they're all still wrapped, and everyone's like, "Read your goddamn manga!" Like, don't
Yeah,
just leave
read
them
your
on,
manga.
don't leave them on the shelf just to collect them.
Coming from the video game collector.
Hey, I open my games and play them. I just don't play them all the time. I don't leave things sealed. I'm very much against that. Like when I buy something, I open it.
That's fair.
Um, yeah, those leather bounds are really nice. I kind of wish more companies would do that, but
Yeah, I definitely I really want the Berserk one. I just like pretty much caught up to where I had originally left off years ago on Berserk. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm going to start hitting like all stuff that I haven't read before, and I'm very excited about it. But I really want to get the Trigun ones because I got interested in the series this year because I watched both of the animes, and I really liked what I saw. But I want to read the manga so I can kind of understand it on a deeper level.
I mean, Trigun's good to get into now because it just started, so like you can actually like kind of collect it as it goes.
Yeah. So maybe maybe if I get like an Amazon card or something, I'll start work on that because that's going to be a lot shorter than Berserk. Um, I am going to eventually get the Berserk ones, but that's a big commitment. There's 14 of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. I mean, I love his art. I just like for some reason the story just doesn't grab me. I don't know why.
It's very dark. It's
That might honestly be it. It might be too dark for me because
that's fair.
as I've learned, I like my slice of lives. I've learned recently.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the things that I like a lot about Code Geass when I watched it this past week because it's one of those kinds of series that like has like a big blend of genres, like anime genres. Like obviously it's got the mech style of it. You got the whole like kind of like revolution, like overthrow of the government shit from like, Full Metal. Um it But then at the same time, the dude's going to high school and shit. So like you get like those kind of slice of life high school sections.
It's almost like Full Metal Panic, but less confused on what it wants to be.
Yeah, like it's got a solid blend of different vibes to it. And I don't know, it just came together in such a fun way. Um I don't know, man. It's really good. Like I definitely think you should give it a watch.
I have both the Blu-rays. I just haven't sat down and watched them yet.
Oh, and if we do come down to see you next weekend, I'm gonna bring my hard drive so I can give you Dark in the Black.
Okay.
Because that's gotta happen.
No worries.
And anything else you want, that's on my hard drive. I have a fair amount of stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, other than that, manga collecting, I think I've collected all the series I really wanted to get caught up on. Now I'm just kind of like I've got ongoings.
Yeah, well, I still have some stuff I gotta catch up on. I am behind on Boruto. I think I'm only up to like volume 12 or 13, and there's 20 of like the original Boruto series, and now we got two Blue Vortex. I don't know how many, if any, volumes of that have come out yet.
I have no idea. I know, like in terms of like I have all the ongoings. I've been collecting. Like the only unfinished series that I'd like to finish at some point is uh Rene, which is it was the series Rumiko Takahashi did right after Inuyasha.
Mhm.
It's 40 volumes, and I have like the first. I think I have like the first like 17 volumes, and then I have volumes 39 and 40 because I just happened to find them one day.
Mhm.
Um, that's been one that I've been grabbing it progressively. Like I'll grab like maybe like a volume or two every like couple of months, but that's such a long commitment. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it anytime soon.
I gotcha.
I mean,
I
it's
don't know. I'm like because I know I still need to finish Yu-Gi-Oh. Like I need like I think 4 more volumes for that, or 4 of the 3-in-1s, I should say. Um, they're not technically mine, but I do want to get Xander more of One Piece because he's only got up through like the beginning of Skypiea, which I mean is still it's still like a quarter of the way through the series. Like it's funny how a lot of these early arcs like take up like how much space of like the total amount of story that actually takes up.
Yeah, well, it's kind of crazy because like then you get to like Wano, which is just long.
Yeah, well, I think the anime like extended it so far. Like yeah, the manga was long for Wano,
Mm.
but it's not nearly as long as the anime made it seem.
That's actually one thing I did like about the 3-in-1s for One Piece because I remember when Alex was collecting them. Well, she still is collecting them. Fun fact: the 3-in-1 for episodes for volumes 100, 101, and 102 actually just came out, and I'm getting that for Alex for Christmas. Um,
Yep. Actually, that was one of the options I did throw out there when we were trying to figure out what we are gonna do next. Because I mean, you technically have all of it available to you.
the thing is, though, not gonna lie, Alex is not gonna let me read those before she does.
I'm pretty sure she's read East Blue.
So believe it or not, she hasn't actually read the physical books yet. She's only been reading it digitally.
Well, she's read it. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
like,
but Alex is weird like that. She won't. I guarantee you, she doesn't. She won't want me reading her books before she does. So it's like one of those weird things.
that I don't know. That's kind of weird to have 100 books 100 books in a series and you haven't read a single one of them yet.
Alex's priorities are weird.
That's fair.
She's also really busy. But
That's true.
yeah, I'd be
That's
better off just.
true.
I'd honestly be better off just getting the Shonen app.
Yeah, probably.
That's what
But
I
I
hate.
mean,
I hate the fact that they split it because it's like there's so many series on the Viz app itself now, but like all the like the Shonen stuff is now on the Shonen app,
yeah, like Inuyasha's on Viz.
which is interesting because before they split them, you couldn't read Inuyasha for free.
Yeah. But I mean there's a possibility if that's something we wanted to go for. Because I mean the early arcs are pretty short. So like it wouldn't be like a super huge commitment, and then hopefully by the time the arc started getting longer, by that point you'd be invested and actually enjoying the process. So
Yeah,
and take it from me, it's a lot easier getting into the series reading it rather than watching it.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, Kaguya-sama is one of the ones where like reading it is an interesting experience compared to watching it. I mean, like both the manga and the anime stand on their own, but like reading it's a completely different experience.
Yeah, like with One Piece, it's weird because like I watched I get decent. I think I watched like up to Arlong Park in the anime, like before I read any of it, and I just stopped watching it. I don't even remember why. I don't know. I just lost interest and stopped watching it. And then it wasn't until I read the series like all the way up to date before I was like, okay, now I can watch it.
Hmm.
And I think part of it is because it started in the late 90s. It was like the kind of like I don't know, it just felt like when Toei started animating it, they weren't taking it seriously.
Hmm.
I don't know, it just feels that way to me. And it wasn't until like Thriller Bark that they really were like, okay, let's start jacking up the quality. And that was the point where like the big animation shift happened and it started getting really good.
I still remember the 4 Kids dub when that premiered.
Hmm.
That was a very miserable dub.
Yeah, no kidding.
We did get the pirate rap though.
This is true. This is true.
Alex hates the pirate rap so much.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. Oh, Cindy started watching Bleach.
Still can't get into it. I've tried so many times.
I don't even remember what it was that made her want to watch it. She just started watching it. Like
Is it
she only
because
watched
it?
a couple episodes, but
Part of it's because it's kind of like getting that resurgence right now.
It could be. I think it was like somebody was talking to her about it and said she should watch it. Um, but yeah, she's only watched a couple episodes so far, but she likes it so far at least.
Hmm.
Um,
There's a
but
ton
yeah,
of season threes coming out next year.
season threes.
Well, season third, well, a ton of new anime seasons coming out next year, I should say.
Yeah,
Like Oshinoko season three, Spy Family
hopefully
season.
Spy Family season three.
It's confirmed for next year, so
It'd be nice to get an update on Dragon Ball Super, but I'm not holding my breath.
yeah, that's you can put Dragon Ball Super with Kaguya-sama season four, with both of us being like maybe someday.
It's still more likely than Comey season two.
Yeah, you know what baffles me on the Comey thing? That manga, there's so much to adapt. Like it's not even like a case where they ran out of material. It's just they did like the first like section and then they ended it right when it gets interesting.
Hmm. See, the thing is with Dragon Ball Super, like, if they keep dragging their feet, they're gonna fucking lose Masako Nozawa before they're able to do like Moro and Granola and all that. Like, she's getting up there, man. She's old.
I know.
The fact that she's even still working is a miracle in itself.
Yeah.
Like, so they keep dragging their feet, they're gonna lose the voice of Goku. And that's a big deal. Like, I don't even know if they'll even animate anything after she dies.
Yeah,
Like,
because in Japan, when an actor dies or actress dies, generally they end up killing off the character.
yeah. Well, I mean, with Dragon Ball, there's usually some wiggle room, but like Masako Nozawa is such an iconic actress for that role. Like, you can't just replace her.
Which is hilarious because I can't stand watching Dragon Ball subbed.
And see, I've grown an appreciation for it personally. Like that chick got some fucking lung. You want to talk about some fucking lung capacity? She got it. Like,
I mean, it's impressive. I just could never. I can't watch subbed generally in general, but
fair.
yes, other season, new seasons though. Zom 100 season 2 should be coming out.
Looking forward to that. That's gonna be good.
Uh,
Um,
Kaiju number 8 season 2. My Happy Marriage season 2. I can't wait for that one.
that's coming out next month.
No, that fucking OVA like just fucking left me with like I want more. Damn it.
I haven't watched it yet.
It'll make you
Um,
want more. That's all I'll say.
I might even just uh, wait until the new season comes out and then
Why you
do it
don't
like
want that?
that.
You don't want that easy entry for the list?
No, well, I mean, I could do that, but I mean, if I was gonna go for easy entries, I would just watch a movie because there's plenty of movies I still need to see.
True. I mean, I've counted every OVA as a separate entry on the list, so
Hmm. Oh, Trigun Stampede season two. I'm looking forward to that.
what else is coming out? There's more stuff. I'm just brain farting at the moment.
Hmm.
Oh, I think Solo Leveling season 2 is also coming out.
Oh yeah, when we get any news about when the Chainsaw movie coming out?
No, Chainsaw Man is one of the ones that's like, what's the holdup?
Yeah.
Because you know what I noticed too, the hype for Chainsaw Man died. Like,
Well, that's because they did 12 episodes and they're like, okay, we're done. Like we're gonna do a movie eventually, but like
yeah,
you can't leave people hanging that long and expect interest to stay. Like Chainsaw Man is great. I enjoyed it immensely, but the fact is, it's still a new series,
hmm,
and it doesn't have the kind of like it's not like Dragon Ball One Piece where fans will sit and wait for 6 years for a new or Attack on Titan. Like people won't just sit and wait for years on end, and then as soon as it comes out, it's gonna be like, whoa, like that's the thing. It's like you kind of have to seize the moment.
well, it's like Spy Family right now. The reason why that's doing so well is because they've been very consistent with it. I think the only reason they haven't got more out is because they caught the manga so fast that they were like, shit, we
Yeah.
got to slow down a little here.
Well, they have enough material now to do a season three, so
They do. They for a while there though, it was like guys, slow down. Endo's not that quick.
And the manga's been on a bit of a hiatus, like not like an outrageous one, but like it's been like a month, and we still got another like 2 weeks before he's gonna put another chapter out, which is a
Did you
bummer.
did you see how gullible people are online recently with the Spy Family thing?
No, I don't know what you're referring to.
Okay, did you see the thing about the divorce arc?
Oh no, I didn't.
So this was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Some guy on an anime like news site. This guy made a troll account, and his post like was from it was like something like that was obvious troll, but everyone
Mm.
missed that entirely. He posted this image of like the next volume to come out in Japan, and it was like I think it was like volume like 14 or something, and it just had an empty chair on the thing, and he just said the caption was just divorce arc coming next, and everybody bought it and ran with it, and everyone was posting like, "Is this real? Like divorce arc?" Like all the fucking anime news sites didn't even check this; they were just posting about it, and I'm like, "You guys are so fucking stupid."
That's so funny.
Like, I know eventually, my theory is that eventually, like, they're gonna have like an encounter, like Lloyd and Yor, like in their actual professions.
Mhm.
But I don't think it's gonna be stupid like a divorce thing. That's just dumb.
It also wouldn't surprise me if it just never happened.
Well, yeah, that's a theory too. That they live in they live in bliss for like for and don't ever know. Um, Endo seems like the guy that would troll us with that, so I'm not sure yet. But
Yeah, we'll see. We will see.
um,
Time will tell. Time will tell.
oh yeah, Sakamoto Days is getting an anime pretty soon. That's cool.
Nice. I'll have to check that out when it comes out.
The manga's been fun. It kind of lost the plot a little bit as it went on, but I do still kind of look forward to how the anime will handle it.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Um, anything else? Oh yeah, the Jujutsu Kaisen, the
Oh yeah,
next next arc. I'm ready to feel sad.
yeah. You get even more sad.
How many more of my favorite characters are gonna die this time?
Oh, the Attack on Titan movie is coming out,
Hmm.
which is literally just like the final chapters just squished into a film.
Oh, Rurouni Kenshin, the Kyoto arc is coming
Oh,
out right now.
that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm just my whole thing is like that's cool. I'm gonna watch that eventually, probably next year at some point, because I'm kind of Rurouni Kenshin out at the moment. But
That's fair.
I just hope when this finishes, they say they're doing the third arc because my god, I want to see that animated and not that fast attempt that we got in Reflections.
Yeah, yeah. I want the legit, like for reals adaptation of that.
Yeah, just because like I've read a little bit of the manga just to see, and I'm like, damn, this is like a really good arc. Like I really like this shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um. But yeah, I think at that maybe at this point we could kind of talk about like some of the stuff we're looking forward to, like for like podcasts wise, like things we want to try and shoot for covering for this next year coming.
I'd like to do more games next year.
Yeah. See, I definitely would like to, for sure, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna do my damnedest for sure. But my time for gaming is limited, and my experience with gaming is limited because I don't know. I had a weird experience growing up with games. Um, I didn't really have friends that played video games for like a while.
hmm.
Like I didn't really get like friends who played video games until like maybe middle school. And by that point everyone was just playing Call of Duty. So I
Yep.
missed a lot of the big names. Like a lot of them because I was just kind of left to my own devices and I was just like, "Oh, I like Dragon Ball. I'm going to play Dragon Ball games. Oh, I like Pokemon. I'm going to play Pokemon. Fucking I like Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm going to play Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? Like I did that kind of shit. Um And like whenever I'd see like, oh, this game's doing, oh, this new game Mass Effect is doing really well. This new game fucking Far Cry is doing really well, you know. And I never touched any of them, you know.
Hmm.
Never played Metal Gear, never played fucking Bioshock, never played none of that. So it's one of those things where like I have a lot of catching up to do. I mean, even just playing as many like Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy games as I have in the past few years has been a lot. Um,
Hmm.
Yeah, just JRPGs in general, really catching up on those, not counting all the other games. Um, so it's one of those things where like I definitely want to do more games, but as far as playing new games goes, like I can't fully guarantee that I'll have the time to do that. Like in like a week's notice, say. Like they'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
let's cover this game." Like I've never played a minute of this game, so I wouldn't have much to say, you know. Um, but I will do my damnedest, especially if we can try to pick shorter games. And all honesty, not having a Switch is going to put a bit of a damper on some of the options I have. So that's a bit of a bummer, um, but if we can work around it and try to pick some of the ones that I have access to or have decent amount of experience with, I would definitely like to do that. Like we could definitely do like Destroy Humans
Hmm.
or uh I mean obviously there's any number of Dragon Ball games we could cover. But I'm sure that would get old pretty fast. Um
I mean, Kakarot would be a cool one at some point.
yeah, I mean that was one that we kind of set aside when we did the big episode on Dragon Ball games because we intended to do a full episode on it. And I do still want to do Legacy of Goku. Even if we just kind of mash them all into one episode. Um, I would like
Well,
to see if we can get like Novel Console Chris on for that one
hmm.
because I know he has experience with those games. Um, but yeah, like that's one of those things that if I have the time, I will absolutely jump in and do that. Like, or even if you wanted to, give Final Fantasy VII Remake another shot, and then we could do an episode on that, or you know what I mean, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
because you still haven't played 9, right?
Right.
Because I know like 9 eventually that would be a fun one to cover, especially because that's Aaron's favorite game of all time. So that'd be cool to have Aaron join us for that.
Hmm. And I was gonna get the Dragon Quest 3 2D remake. Well, I mean, I guess I technically could get it on like PlayStation or whatever, but
Hmm.
that I'd just be running into the same wall of when do I have the TV to myself,
Yeah,
you know?
you have
Um,
because you have a PS5 and an Xbox One, right?
mhm.
Okay.
So I mean, I have the option for that game. It's just oh, I didn't mention earlier. I did pick up Attack of the Saiyans again, and I'm working on beating that. I'm on the last chapter, just collecting the false Dragon Balls,
I'm
so I
so
could fight
bummed that
Broly.
like I love that they add those early pre pre Dragon Ball Z like story segments at the beginning, but then they
Mhm.
just glaze over the tournament.
Yeah, that was definitely a bummer. Well, they probably did that because they were like, oh, like we're gonna have all this stuff like building up to the Saiyans showing up, and then we'll do more stuff in the sequel.
And then Nintendo swooped in and bought Monolith Soft, and we're like, see ya.
Yeah, but another one I'd like to do an episode on is Dragon Ball Fusions
Mm.
because that's an absolutely wonderful game that doesn't get nearly enough attention or love.
You know something that I think would be kind of cool, but it would probably I'd have to like lend you my DC Universe account to do it. It'd be cool to do some like traditional comic reviews.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like that.
Hmm. I'd have to see about how sharing an account works for DC Universe, but if I can like let you borrow mine, that would probably be an easy way to read some of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, is it like is a lot of that stuff like arc runs or anything or like multiple issue runs or are there like standalones?
So I believe DC Universe has a thing now where like they actually have the trades. You can read the trade format, so it'll have all the issues for like a certain run in one thing rather than having to
Mhm.
go to the individual issues.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like if I could just like get all of like one like story arc or whatever like as like a single purchase on like Kindle or something, I could probably do it like that.
Yeah, I'd have to look into that because I think you can actually buy the trade versions now, which have all of the issues for like a story arc together.
Yeah, because I know Marvel does something like that where they like will mash like a ton of issues together as like a. I think they call it like the Epic collections.
Yeah, they do it in like trade form. Like it's
Hmm.
kind of just like the comic way.
Yeah,
I'm not a big Marvel guy, so I can't really go super deep into Marvel. Like I have like I think when it comes to Marvel stuff, I have like some Spider-Man. That's about it.
yeah. So I'm not. I don't get super crazy into like a lot of fan comic stuff, but um there was one Dragon Ball fan comic that I really liked, and I would like to cover at some point. Like maybe once we finish like all the official Dragon Ball manga stuff.
Hmm.
That Dragon Ball multiverse. It's been going for a long time. It's like like I caught up to it originally when I was in high school, and there was a good amount back then. And they just continued on. They released like a page every like 2-3 days, something like that. Um, and it's been ongoing since longer than Battle of Gods has been around, like by a pretty wide margin. So, and it's a really fun story. So
Hmm.
I think that would be a fun one to cover at some point in the future.
You know, be a cool manga to cover too. Now that I think
What's
about
that?
it, it's a Shonen Jump one, so it'd probably be easy. The Kage manga,
Yeah, that is on. Yeah, that's on Shonen Jump.
yeah, because it's weird that it's a Shonen technically.
Yeah.
That'd be a
um,
cool one.
yeah, there's one I do want to read.
It's worth reading just because Aka's art is really cool, and it's kind of a bummer that he's not drawing anymore. But
Mhm.
not
The
taking
that
anything against the artist for Oshinoko, she's an excellent artist as well. But
mhm. Yeah. See, I definitely want to read more of the stuff that I have on the Shonen Jump app, and I do read it. But because I've been buying the Kindle editions of Berserk until I finish Berserk, that's kind of like taking up the time that I read
yeah,
uh, digital comics. Um, but I've also been whipping through it. So, and
sure.
whenever they're on, because like generally what I'll do is I'll buy one volume a week on Kindle. But if it's on sale for like $5 a pop, I'll buy two.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's been really fun going through. Trying to think, there's another one I was thinking of. I mean, I know your time is really limited, but like like covering like smaller novels would be really fun too.
Hmm.
But see, it's like see, we have that same kind of like colliding thing where like I don't have a ton of time to play games, you don't have a ton of time to read books. So it's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
um but I know Cindy and I were talking about doing that side series thing. So that would be fun to do. I
Hmm.
do still want to do the stand with you.
Yeah. I got to yeah, that would be a good one.
Because you know what, I that's actually one thing that I do have on my hard drive, so I could pass that to you
Hmm.
when I come to see you.
True.
Um, and a few other things too that I have on there. I'd have to check and see what I got, um, but yeah, those are some fun things I'm looking forward to doing.
Hmm.
Um, I know we talked about doing some of the live action series this year coming up,
Hmm.
so hopefully we can get some of those done.
I know how we had done the Marvel cinematic universe at one point. It'd be kind of cool to do some of the DC animated movies too going forward.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to figure that out because Max decided to take half of them off their service for some reason.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm not very happy about it because they're getting rid of Teen Titans and Static Shock, among other things. And you know
Well,
what else I'm really upset about? They're getting rid of fucking Ed and Eddie.
yeah, Max literally just like killed any reason to own that app. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's fucking bullshit. Unless you want to watch Looney Tunes. I mean,
Yeah,
Max. I mean, let's be real. Max does have a lot of good stuff on it. Like, I mean, you also don't care about Lord of the Rings or Harry Potter, so that doesn't really matter to you. But all that stuff's on there for people like me who like that stuff. Um, and there's a bunch of like, I mean, that's the thing is Max is really good with movies. Like, they had tons of good movies.
that if you're a Discovery fan, you can watch like MythBusters or like all the car shows.
Oh, yep.
That's honestly what I've been doing with Max mostly lately.
And I forget, is Max the one that has like Ghost Adventures and shit? 'Cause I know Cindy loves those shows. I can't remember if it's
Maybe.
Max or Paramount.
I can never tell anymore. Even Paramount, like half the Star Treks aren't even on it anymore.
Yeah, I know. Fucking, I don't know. Paramount is like determined to kill Star Trek for some reason because I mean, they finished. They at least they gave Discovery like a proper wrap up, even though that's probably the series that deserves it the least. Um,
Yeah, the one that everyone hated.
yeah, and they fucking cancel Lower Decks, which is the best fucking new
The
Star
one
Trek we
the one
had
that
going
everyone
for
loved.
us. Fucking, they literally ditched Prodigy. Netflix picked them up. And I don't even know if that's going to end up continuing. I hope it does. Oh, that's another thing I really want to cover is Prodigy.
Hmm.
Because that's a really fun show. Let's see. I mean, I do want to do more Star Trek episodes anyway. Honestly, it was a little disappointing that we only did the one episode this past year.
And then life happened.
Yeah. It was just hard to plan it out, and then like all of a sudden a year went by. I was like, shit, like fuck. Maybe we shouldn't have waited on everybody else. Should have just done it.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of stuff I'm really looking forward to covering on the show in this upcoming year.
I think I said it for the same for 3DO, but like more guest episodes. That's something I want to try and plan out next year.
For sure. Like I said, I'd like to get Novel Console Chris on for the Legacy Goku episode. Whenever we get around to covering Dragon Quest to any degree, we get Thrak on for that. Obviously Aaron for Final Fantasy 9. And then just in general, like whatever we want to cover from that point onward, if we want to do like more Ghibli movies or whatever, we can maybe see if Rick wants to join us for that or something.
That'd be cool. Yeah, honestly, there's a whole bunch of fun stuff.
And then once we eventually get around to covering the live action One Piece, I'm sure Alex would love to join us for that. So
she'll be there.
also, we should make her join us for Dragon Ball Evolution.
That would be fun to get her to watch that. I don't know if I can convince her, but that movie
it's
is
not that hard of a watch. It's entertaining in its own way, much like Netflix Death Note.
The hair gel gag is funny. I still think that one's pretty funny.
The fucking I still can't get over that one video of him sliding on the car.
Yeah. But it's still like the most out of character Chi-Chi though in that entire series.
Yeah. Where
like,
she's like actually cool.
She does stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of bad, but that's like one of the best versions of Chi-Chi out there.
Well, the best anime version of Chi-Chi is in the non-canon wedding dress filler arc. So
yeah, that's true.
It's like that poor character got the shaft so many times.
Oh, we got to start covering the Z movies too.
We do. Those will be fun, especially those early ones.
Don't forget to add the OG Dragon Ball movies to your list of completed anime.
Well, I had already watched those years ago, so they're already.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm keeping separate tabs for rewatches too. So
I'm gonna mention rewatches, but I'm not counting them on my main list.
Yeah, well, I'm probably gonna like list off all the new ones, and then I'll list off all the rewatches, or vice versa.
Yeah, I'm tempted to if I want to talk about manga I read this year, but that might be
I was gonna bring it up just as a conversation point.
Yeah, that was my thought.
It doesn't have to be like part of like the like official like structure of it, but if we want to talk about it in general, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Of course, by the time this comes out, that will have already been recorded and released.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, so we're at about an hour and a half. Any other things we wanted to cover before we wrap up, or
no, not particularly. Just kind of shooting the shit on this one, really, for the most part.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good enough time to wrap it up then. So yeah, once again, guys, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms, particularly Apple Podcast and Spotify. And be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network. That is superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site. Tons of great different podcast shows, videos, blogs. At the time of this recording, I'm not sure what kind of blogs we're doing over on the site, but I'm sure there's an awesome like series or something going on.
I'm sure by this point we'll probably be doing like the favorite games from the second half of the year. Because I know Aaron was talking about that, so I think that'll probably be what's current.
Yeah, it's either that'll be current or it'll already be out. But either way, like tons of cool stuff like that. I don't know if we're gonna do Christmas themed blogs. That'd be kind of cool, but
I don't know how we'd handle that.
yeah. But other than that, though, be sure to check out all the awesome shows over on the network, like Superpod Saga, Super Ghost Radio, Retro Rehab, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, A Novel Console, Bar Silence, Fine Time, the Elder Trolls Gaming Podcast, Remember 64, Gaming Together, Friday Night Gamecast, the three GNC shows, Gaming and Collecting, the 3DO Experience, Geek Addicts, and the Retro Wildlands, Press B to Cancel, and the Pre-Order Bonus Podcast. And with that, everybody, we will see you all later.
Have a good one.